Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing this morning or this afternoon if you're on the other side of the pond? Good to see you all. Well, it's been a strange week, hasn't it, folks? It has definitely been a strange week. I'm good. I'm just, this market is something else. It's an interesting market. You know, back in the day, there were certain stock promoters that they would squeeze their stocks for just huge periods of time and catch everyone short, rip it up again, catch everyone short. And this ES market is very much reminding me of those operators, right? And it's not being done on purpose. It's just being done because the way people think and how this market has the ability to shut off supply just when everybody gets short. And let's give you an example of that. So we had the sell-off, then we had that short covering, and then we sold off again from it, and then we had a holiday, right? Now the holiday allowed, and I'm just going to go in and I'm going to put in the overnight profiles. The holiday allowed these traders to come in and do some short covering. Now, yesterday, even though we had a holiday, I wrote in the room, I said, hey guys and ladies, I said, you want to watch out for 57.80 because that's where that short position is and that swing low. And we took it out in yesterday's weird, goofy, shortened session. Right? Now, people who aren't in our trading room at the trading syndicate and other people who really don't understand how inventory works and trading on a Friday, this day allowed the people who were short here, who didn't get to cover on this day, on this liquidation, it allowed them to do some covering. Now, the smart money shorts covered here. The dumb money shorts initiated here. And you can see they're paying for it because 92.5 is our low of the night. Well, it's 91.5. So we're 4 ticks off the low on these levels. Rotation back up. Now, why is this? Because the last full trading day was Friday. You'll note that I have the Friday references here, here, the close, and the previous day low. So overnight inventory and the inventory of the holiday was short. So that short inventory is now correcting. Right? That's what we've got now. We've got a correction to our overnight inventory and to the holiday inventory. That's why we're getting this movement back up. So if we keep putting in an overnight high, your upper targets, by Freds, are 60.65, which is this line here, and of course Wednesday's high. Okay, let's go take a look. If you're a short seller, you need Wednesday's low to break, and you need a break of 60.17. If you can't break those levels, as my client the Penguin would say, govern yourselves accordingly. Okay? After a liquidation, the market profile is showing us that we have two short positions here. One from 34 to 36, and one from 49 quarter to 53. Right? We are in distribution now. The smart money that went long, right? The smart money that went long Wednesday night, Wednesday, this morning, they are going to use those trap shorts as leverage. No, we did not. Right? We didn't have a poor low yesterday, and we don't have a poor low tonight. We just ran out of stock. We just ran out of supply, Raj. Right? No problem. I know you're on the iPad. So we're in distribution. Wednesday's point of control is here. There should be some supply up here. Right? And indeed, as digital, good morning digital, we do have a short squeeze. Right? Going into Friday. Now, this is an age-old thing in markets. And I don't know, because most of the people who are on these streams aren't that old. And most of them haven't worked in brokerage firms or worked retail like in the old days. You always like to close a market higher on Friday. And that time-honored tradition still sort of continues. It's a nice thing to do. And you know why? Because people who invest will look at their stuff on Saturday morning. In the old days, they would look at the Saturday paper and see all the closing prices from Friday. And if the prices were higher, they're more likely to buy more stock, and they're more likely to hold on to what they bought. Right? You could think of like the market like a store. Right? So say you're, Walmart, and you're selling, I don't know, what's the latest gadget? Louis Rookheiser. Oh my God, there we go, Tebow. I was watching that show in the 80s. Wall Street Week. Think of it like a store. Okay? You want people to buy the stock, but you don't want them to return it. Right? You don't want them to return it. Right? As Russell Peters says, take it and go. Right? Contract volume in that old contract is 67,000 contracts, so it's almost done. Today is today the Quad Witch? Is it the Witches of Eastwick today, or was it on Wednesday? I don't know. Anyway, we'll look for some volatility. Right? The Witches of Eastwick are here. Good, good, good. All those contracts start to expire. Going to get some short covering. And that's what we're seeing right now. Right? So let's go look at my balance was 60.17 to 22 quarter. Profit zone is 31 and 3/4 first target. 50 and 3/4 second target. Third target up at 8 times cost basis. 60.88 and 3/4. You can see these candles. They're just kind of marching upwards, right? You know, usually you have this kind of thing. This is pure distribution. Beautiful distribution. Because what's happening is anyone who's long, right, size, they just see those buyers and they just keep raising price, right? When you run out of buyers, you put it on sale. You find buyers, you raise price again. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And we're using folks who are trapped short underneath 53. Where is it? Right? So that first short position is here. Because naturally people would short, hey, you know what, at 4 times cost basis, that's not a bad short. But guess what? We did a look below and fail of 46 and right back up. So that little cost basis, if we liquidate, look for a little support at 48. Okay? Jam, groove with your software there and tell me what overnight inventory is. I determine the zones, Adam, by looking at two-sided trade. So what I do is when I'm looking for the zones, wrong chart. No, it's not the right chart either. Wait a second. Give me a sec. I had a 1-minute chart on this stupid thing. Ah, here we go. What I'll do is I'll look for two-sided trade. Now, what is two-sided trade? I look for a high and a low, and then rotation back to that high, right? So that back and forth, that's a cost basis. Now, if you come into our room at the Trading Syndicate, we have videos and explanations, and I even did a video. If you look on my X, I show you exactly how to do it. Right? There's a short little video. I'll post it on YouTube this weekend. Right? So all it is, Adam, is the zones are where you buy your stuff and where you sell it. Now, as in any business, say you bought your inventory here. This is 2 times profit, and this is 2 times discount. So sometimes you got to put it on sale, right? So that's accounted for as well. Right? Remember, it's a market. So this could be a chart. This could be a chart of orange sales, right? What is distribution? Okay, Singh, you buy 1,000 oranges or bananas, right? And you pay 10 cents per banana. Got it? And you buy 1,000 of them. Now, you take those bananas, you take them to market, and you put them on sale for 20 cents a banana. That's double. But then you see people lining up because some guy on YouTube says you'll live for 200 years if you eat bananas. So all of a sudden now you got 1,000 people standing in line. So you can raise price. So now you can go 30 cents. And if they buy it at 30 cents, raise it to 40 cents. Now at 40 cents, you sell 500 of your 1,000 bananas. That, my friend, is beautiful distribution. Distribution is just a different word for saying sales. Right? We're making sales. That's what you want to do in a market. You want to move that inventory out the door, profit, profit, profit. Get it? These charts that you're looking at are just sales charts. That's all this is. This is just a sales chart. And it tells you how well the sales of bananas are going. Don't let anybody tell you any different. It's just a sales chart, right? You buy a bunch of cheap crap, you sell it at a higher price. Now, what we're looking for, market profile, is kind of cool because it'll tell us this is where the bananas are priced. This is where 70% of the bananas are priced. That's how much we had to spend. Now, we'd like to see that little purple thing move up. And if we can move it up, then we've got good distribution, right? See, the goal in this business that you guys don't know about and are never told about, the goal is to sell as much as you can, as high as you can, for as long as you can, right? You ever heard the saying, when the ducks are quacking, feed them? You guys are the ducks, right? And you come in to buy something, and we'll keep you quacking here. Now, when you guys stop quacking, that's when we have to lower price. Just like Walmart, just like Target, right? 75% short. See how they're putting it on sale now? Now let's see if this little sale brings in buyers, right? It's pretty cool. Once you actually start looking at charts for what they really are, instead of trying to put all sorts of fancy stuff behind a chart, you'll see really quickly that this business isn't that complicated. And if we uncomplicate things, then we can keep our focus and attention on execution. So what's going on now, my friends, is the sellers are executing here, and when they get down to 54, they just stop executing. They stop selling. That's how you create support. So if I've got 5,000 bananas for sale, right, and Adam and Sing and Hank and Jam and Truth, we're all competing up here. But we're not going to kill the market. So if we come down here, think of this level here as a glass door. And if we see a bunch of buyers lined up, we'll increase price. Now, the beautiful thing is, right, if enough Goombas go and short this thing underneath 54, we can raise price and force them to cover, just like they're doing now. You see that? That's exactly what's happening now, right? A little bit more of a squeeze, right? So we haven't stayed in one place long enough to move that point of control up. That's good to note, right? Exactly. There you go, Hank. Right? If you're selling, you've got to undercut me. Right? If I'm selling at 5, you sell at 4.99. If I go 4.99, you go 4.98. Right? See, the problem with chart-based trading is there's no sense of urgency. If you were on a trading floor and Adam and Singh and myself and Hank, we were all standing there waiting to sell, and we saw that the customers were starting to go away, we'd start to lower price. And if Singh lowered price, then Adam would lower price. And then I would lower price. And we'd push each other out of the way, and there'd be a sense of urgency to capture that buying. But you don't get that with charts, especially if you don't understand the business. And how can you understand the business if people are talking to you about cups and handles and teapots and toasters, right? An upside down snuffleupagus, patterns, bulls holding flags, all this nonsense, right? And I'm not knocking technical analysis, but understand what creates the pattern. It'll help you trade better. Understand why the business occurs. None of this stuff is random. If you think the world of money is random, you got another thing coming. Right? You put $2 million on a table and you see how how quickly men will kill each other over $2 million. There's nothing random about it. Right? You can, but you have to know what you're looking at, Timo. If you don't understand the business that the chart is creating, you have no sense of urgency. That's why people sit around with their thumb up their bum, putting unrealistic targets on their trades, taking trades at the wrong place, right? They have no sense of urgency. I still don't know how a bull holds a flag. They've got hooves. They don't have any opposable thumbs, right? Now, I like to joke around with technical analysis people, but I mean no harm. But I want you guys to be smart money. I don't want you to be the eaten. I want you to be the hunter, not the hunted, right? This is the front end of a move. Don't short the front end of a move, right? Wait till the sellers are desperate and have to lower price before you short. If you're not long and you miss the long, have a coffee and relax. The short will come. But there's no sense shorting a market when it's not on sale. Does that make sense? What is the point of shorting a market when it's not on sale? Because you can't hold a short for 5 weeks. Right? What's the point? Right? We like to help you dissect the pattern, right? No, sell side are like market makers and stuff like that. I was a distributor. Of course I was a distributor, truth, right? Yeah, good for you. I don't trade NQ because I have high blood pressure. You know what? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Where, Jess? Take the word random and throw it away. There's a business reason why you take a trade. There's a business reason why you get out of the trade. And there's a business reason why you shouldn't trade. If you learn that, you won't have to worry and fill your head with all these thoughts. Like when somebody comes with a big buy or sell order. Right? We want you to be able to think clearly. Right? We want you to be able to execute ruthlessly. Right? When you're in a street fight, you're not thinking about Pythagorean theorem, right? When a pilot gets into trouble, right? It is my business decision. There you go. You do business on your terms, baby. When the terms and conditions of your business are met, that's when you do terms. That's when you execute. Now, if you're shorting, use that top as your out, and you're looking for bids right here. We're looking for bids right here. And if the sellers are in trouble, they're going to come right back to this little cost basis here. But that's shorting the backfill. Right? There's nothing wrong with trading NQ. It's just a very fast market and it's a very thin market. We have people in our room who do trade it. I just like to make money in a boring manner, right? I'm old now, right? I'm old. I just like trading ES, I only trade one thing. See, and what happened there? Right? We had a little sale. And you should have covered where I told you to. That little sale, you know what that sale is? The price is going higher, and then all of a sudden they're like attention shoppers. For the next 2 minutes, Jimmy Dean Franks are on sale on aisle 17. But get them while they're hot. Only 2 minutes. Boom, price goes back up. Bullish? I never use that word. I never use that word. What, this is just an inventory correction. What, I used to run a phone room, a boiler room, and we had this one guy, and his name was J.B. Murdoch. And he'd call people up, J.B. Murdoch here, and the B stands for bullish. So every time I hear bullish, I think of old crazy Mad Dog Murdoch. Oh, man. Crazy times. Look at this short squeeze, dear God. Coming up to 65 and 3/4. I'm looking for yeah, the Kmart blue light special, exactly. Right? There's 65 and 3/4. Oh, and we just ran right over it. Have I ever been desperate to sell a big chunk? Every day, Agatha. Every day. Every day. I'm always desperate to sell as much as I can. $69 and 3/4. Let's see. We got 71. Going to open in a minute here. Just want to make sure I've got the stops in place. There's the previous day high. Well, that escalated rather quickly, didn't it? Who was talking about volatility? I think it was Singh. Let's see here. Short 64 and 1/4, and I covered at 61 and 3/4 before the open. Not the greatest. I should have been short a little higher, but hey, what's up, Alexander? How you doing? What's wrong with my dumb? Oh, now it's moving. My data actually froze for a little while there. That's interesting. Anybody has had a little data freeze off the open? Oh, okay. Oh, what the hell? Okay. Rat bastards. You know, the thing with these guys is the infrastructure for retail traders isn't there, right? You know, they'll take our money, but they don't build out the infrastructure for us like institutions, right? So when things heat up, right, I'm long 60 on a couple, and I'm selling them at 62. And I'm just scalping because I don't trust this bloody data, right? Um, that's why sometimes it chokes up, right? It really chokes up. Mind you, institutions spend a couple of $100,000 a month for data and millions on infrastructure. Exactly. We're there to feed the upstairs. So we're still distributing, right, folks? Because all that inventory from yesterday, from Wednesday night, it's all underneath us, right? They stopped selling it just around 55, 56. Let's see if that holds. Six to one, positive. Wow, thanks, Jeff. I haven't read the news this morning. Is anything going on? Everyone's got their everyone's got their 6-shooter in the holster. Hello, HB. What is your strategy and what you use? My strategy is I trade inventory against order flow, and I use the business. My strategy is that the trade has to make business sense. So, for example, right now I don't see a trade. Okay, cool. If you're confused by this action, don't worry. Just relax, right? You don't have to trade it. Remember, what you want is a trader is to have a trade setup. When the business matches your trade setup, when the business matches the terms and conditions under which you execute, then you go to work. Till that happens, just relax. Right? Got some bids coming up here. The sellers were up here at 63 before. What is inventory? Have you ever sold anything, HB? You ever worked in a store? You ever bought anything from a store? Okay. Well, the store has inventory. And that inventory is acquired at a certain price and distributed at a certain price for profit. Simple as that. How I see inventories is I use the charts to tell me where the inventory is. If you're new to the channel, please look at the prior videos. I explain this stuff in detail. Right? So now We have some inventory at 55, 56. We're taking it and selling it at 64. Right? When we run out of buyers, what are we going to do to that inventory, HB? We're going to put it on sale. I'm watching the reaction at 65 and 3/4. Let's see here. It's a little choppy here, so the trade might not be obvious. We still have sellers at 63. And remember, when a market opens, you don't have to rush and start to trade it. So if you find it confusing, just relax. Just relax. Wait for your trade setup. Now, if you don't know what a trade setup is, it is a repeatable business operation that you can scale to manage risk and make money in this market. If you want to learn how to create a trade setup, use them, right? They're tools. And join us at the Trading Syndicate. Give us a shot. There's a 25% off code in the banner below. You know, it's where I teach and trade every day. We have a helpful community. We've got tons of educational stuff in there. Right? And for people who trade commodities, you know, we've got an ex-Goldman guy, you know, who helps teach on the commodity side. I teach equities and futures. And the other thing that when you come into our room, we'll show you how to pass those evaluations at the funded trader programs like our friends at Apex. Check out their discount code is in the description. Right? Little plug for the room there. But we'll teach you how to trade. Right? We'll teach you what inventory is. We'll teach you what cost basis is. Right? Markup, markdown. Right? And how you build a business plan around that. So every trade we take has a solid foundation in the business. For example, if I'm going long here, say I'm going long at 65, right? Well, my stop is going to be underneath right here. Because if I'm going long at 65, well, I want to sell at 68, 67, right? If somebody starts selling at 64, 63, the business reason for my trade doesn't really exist anymore, does it now? So why would I be long product at 65 if someone's selling it at 63? Savvy? It's just simple. Now, execution is not easy. It's difficult. And it's frustrating because just when you start getting it, the markets change. So we teach you how to adapt to changing markets. You know, these are all things. Oh, damn, I missed that. I was out at 68 on that 65 long, right? Because I'm selling just before that level. That was just one contract, a scalp. Take out the overnight high, and they're going to sell into it here. Now we're going to backfill. We're going to find the bid. Once we find the bid, they'll stop selling, and they'll do this. Right? But if the bid's too far lower, then you'll get a bunch of sellers competing and push down to 65 and 3/4. Yeah, exactly. Truth. Right? The sellers shut off right here. There's no stupid questions. It's your money, right? You have to ask questions to learn. Right? Nobody pops out of the womb knowing how to trade. I've never seen a 5-year-old sit down at a level 3 and start trading. So, yeah, in one of my videos it says don't short if there's no supply. What does that mean? So if you don't see a seller sing, why would you short? Selling means supply, right? Just think about it in really simple terms, brother. Right? So if a market's going up, why would you short it? See, because people don't realize that there's sellers and they're raising price. They're raising price because they see buyers. There's no reason to short the front end of a move. Right? So for example, here, this is the front end of that move, right? Now you see a seller, so you go short. You put your stop there, and you put your bids here to see if you can cover. You never short the front end of a move. This is the front end, this is the back end. You wait until the sellers show themselves. You wait until supply is being introduced. Does that make sense? Do I have a fixed P&L? Yeah, I have a certain amount that I try and make every day. Sometimes I don't make it, right? It's like being a fisherman. You know, sometimes you go fishing, there's no fish, right? Sometimes sometimes I'll start trading and I'll just screw it up. Everybody has bad days. So I'll stop. I've been doing this for 33 years. I've been in this business. So I know that there will be a tomorrow, unless I don't wake up, in which case it doesn't matter. But I know the market's going to be open tomorrow, right? So if I don't make any money today, what's the most important thing? That I don't lose a lot of money. Be long-term greedy, right? Think 5 years, 10 years, 15 years out, right? So you don't make a lot of money today. Trading's not a lottery, right? You want to go to work every day and try and make some bread. Sometimes the market does not give you what you're looking for. Sometimes you'll trade like a pregnant yak. You'll be slow, you'll miss executions, you'll make bad decisions. When you take a couple of bad trades, that's why I use the micro when I first start at the London Open and see whether or not I'm in the groove. If I am, I'll switch to the mini. If I take 3 trades on the micro and get stopped out, I stop trading. My win rate's not bad, actually. I haven't checked lately. But I know it's over 60%, 60, 70%, because I don't trade that much. I only trade at the edges. I don't take FOMO trades, MOMO trades. I only wait when the market gives me the signal I want. I take the trade, I put in the stop, and then I sell. Do I get stopped out? Hell yeah. Right? But I trade to make a living. I don't trade for ego. If I want to do something for ego, I'll drop a deal and do $500 million in a day. Right? Or $200 million in a day. Right? Which means sell $200 million worth of stock. Right? That's where you make real money. Right? So I don't do this for ego. I do this to make a daily wage. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. The big thing is not to lose a lot of money. Okay, now let's see if we can take out those. Remember where the position was underneath here? Let's see if we can get underneath that 53. Right? It's a simple business, but it's not an easy business. You know, so you just keep going every day. You try and improve your trading every day. Try and learn something new every day. Be open to change. And the most important thing in this business is to admit you're wrong quickly. Right? Don't be stubborn and be wrong. Being stubborn and being wrong is a great way to lose all your money. Yeah, see, you sold all your inventory, now you're out, right? That's a beautiful thing. Now go to the beach for me. Right? That's the goal of retail trading is to take Friday off. Right? Make so much money that you can take Friday off. Right? Or at least trade in the morning and go do something fun in the afternoon. You don't want to be stuck in front of this screen for 18 hours a day. Make your money and get out. Also, the longer you sit in front of a screen, the more your ego is going to be going, come on, you're a superstar. Come on, just take that next trade. Come on. What about the people who say you need 18 hours for price action intuition? Well, I'll admit that I've done that. And when you're starting out, spend time. You're going to have to spend time. But understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. So if you do 18 hours for price action intuition and you do it for 5 days in a row, you're going to be a little tired and you're not going to be profitable. It's up to you, right? Like, Panday, if you have a life, if you have children, a wife, if you got a job, you're probably not going to be able to spend 18 hours in front of a screen. You get what I'm saying? Like, all these idiots have these, like, sayings, right? This and that, but it's got to be adaptable for real life, right? I mean, how many people on this call, right, out of, say, 100 people, how many people actually have 18 hours a day to sit in front of a screen and just watch a chart? Probably not that many. I mean, people have lives, right? Okay, now we're we're liquidating back down, right? So this is it. Now this is on sale, right? Right, a little bit of a sale, right? And as we sell this thing down, what did uh, what did Truth say? He said they stopped selling around 52, 54, right? Right back to cost basis. And if they really have to put it on sale, they'll sell it lower than this little cost basis and will come down into this 52 area. Right? So if you were short off the 66s, that's nice. It's a good place to pay yourself a little bit. Ah, nice. I'm glad somebody got that. Beautiful. Nice trade, Truth. Nice trade. Right? Now, if you didn't get the short, that's okay. Don't worry. Right? I was flapping my gums and answering questions, so I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't dialed in, so I didn't get the short. So now let's see. A nice long would be if we look below 50, three-quarter and fail and come back up. There's 50 and three-quarter. Levels are working okay this morning. See? They stopped selling here. They're going to lift the offer, but I'd prefer if we look below it and come back up. That means the sell orders are done. That's where the shorts are trapped. That's why there are buyers there, my friends. Right? That's why this is a little short covering. Now let's see if they sell into it at 55. Nice work, Truth. Really nice trading. That's a nice trade. So let's see. That's a fancy way of putting it. Yes. Globex high failure reversal. Me, I'm a simpleton. I just say they put it on sale. Right? So if you're long in the 50, 52s, all right, I'm long 52.42 on 3. I'm selling them at 55. I got one left. Out the last one at 54 and 3/4. Right? So that wasn't a look below and fail. The reason I bought that is because, and my stop was here. Right? Hey, listen, I'm an old eye gouger. I don't use the fancy words. Right? Take it up. They don't want to buy it anymore. Put it on sale. Stop selling. Get a little lift. Right? So now, I love that counter inventory trade because oftentimes I miss the short. Now, if we fill these single prints, where the hell did we leave VWAP? Where did we leave VWAP? Where are you, old VWAP? Oh, there you are. Okay, so VWAP's 44. So we'll have a little short covering that'll cover off before VWAP. Oh, there's one single print we left. Look at that. There's one little print. Long 52. Gonna sell 54 half. If we don't get up there, I'll scratch it. That's just one contract. I'm just scalping. I'm flat. I was too slow. There's one single print left. It's holding up the whole market. There's one desperate short seller holding up the whole market at 49/4. There's a seller at 54. It's a tight rotation here. But if I had a good day, I should not overtrade. Was there data at 10? Ooh, thanks. I've completely, I don't know, something about that holiday in the middle of the week. I've completely lost track of time, day. I keep forgetting it's Friday. It's brutal. Ooh. Leading inventory. See, inventory's all over the place. You can't get away from inventory, folks. You can try, but it will chase you down. Can't run from inventory. You know, the funny thing is, $6 million man, I used to love shorting. I used to love shorting before 2005, I'd short everything that walked. And then they changed the equity rules in 2005 where you had to go and have a borrow stock, right? Regulation SHO. That was a real party pooper, right? Because in the old days, you could just short something, you didn't have to borrow it. So what I should have done in 2005, had I been smart, is I should have gotten into the stock loan business, charge those crazy borrow rates. All right, come on, let's take out the 49s. I want to see what's cooking under here. What kind of buyers are under here? Yeah, that's right. You guys get a better tax rate on futures in the States, right? Yes, it's the witches of Eastwick today. Definitely. Now, how that influences my trading, it really doesn't. I'm aware that it's options expiration. I'm aware there could be some volatility. And the chart, the 1 minute chart, will tell me if there is volatility. Right now, there is none. Right? If you haven't seen the doc around, that probably means he's been working the night shift and he finally crashed and has to sleep. That guy will go like 72 hours without sleep, work at the hospital, trade, and then that's it. He just he gets tired, and that's it, and then the man needs to sleep, even though he tries to pull like 72-hour shifts. Hey, so we filled that print. Let's see what we've got. What lies beneath? Come on now. Yeah. So when he's not around, it means he's crashed. Oh, excuse me. Okay, bid period is here. Let's see what we do. Remember, if it gets back above 51, 52, there will be sellers at 54. Oh, thanks, Derek. Hey, I thought you were at the beach, RC. What are you doing? Don't go spending all that money on some fancy stereo now. Okay, come on, market. Let's go. Or are we just going to sit here and collect contracts? I like to see people make money and then go enjoy themselves. I'm looking for the market to correct under VWAP and to go down to 42. But it's got some stubborn buyers here at 50, 49. And when it's choppy like this, I'll just leave it alone. Right? So the reason why a lot of the traders in our room have really decent win rates is because they only do business when it meets their terms and conditions. And and that's hard when you're first learning how to trade because you don't know what your terms and conditions are. So those are the kind of things that we help you with in our room at the Trading Syndicate. We try and help you craft a business plan because listen, if you're a retail trader, you're running a small business. Okay? Don't get it twisted. You're running a small business. You got to treat it like a business, right? And business people don't do things off the cuff, right? You ever heard a baker go, I'm going to do some FOMO baking, right? Carpenter, I'm going to do some FOMO electrical work, I'm just going to start sawing this wood just for the hell of it. No, right? There's an agenda in business. Okay, there's that seller. Down to VWAP now. Come on. Oh, man. And that's why we're different than a lot of the rooms because we actually will tell you what the business reason to take the trade is. For example, if I'm short here, right? If I'm short at 48, right? It's because there's a seller here. Now, if that seller goes away, goes bye-bye, right? My stop will be just right here over 50. Right? There's the seller. See how that seller's kind of walking up? So, if that's the case, then I know that, hey, that trade's probably not the best idea. Right? See how the price is going higher? Why would you stay in the short? Right? Now, I'm not trading this chop, but I'm just trying to explain the reason why you would take a trade. I'd like to see that point of control move down here. They're front running VWAP right now, my friends. When you're trading, you always want to front run. Right? So if you're long at 48, 49, and you know that there's sellers at 51, they're going to take your customer, right? So when you're long, you're a seller. When you're short, you're a buyer. Front running, right? If I know that Derek, if you and I are competing, and I know that you're selling at $5, I'm gonna sell at 4.98. That's front running. Does that make sense? It's pretty simple. It's just cutting in front of the line, right? It's just business, simple business. There's that break I was looking for. Right, there's VWAP. Little bounce off VWAP now. But there is trapped inventory above us, right? So just be aware of that. Long 47. I'm selling the 48s. Flat. I'm just scalping. I should stop trading now. I'm not sure. I thought I checked my VWAP at the right place. Where does everybody else have VWAP? I could have it in the wrong place. I do. Oh, it's still 44. So what I consider a bounce above is when we've cleaned out the sellers. With it being Friday low volume, don't you think that they'll float the market down? Why? Derek, if you had 5,000 contracts, would you want to sell them higher or lower? You're only going to float the market down if you run out of buyers. Right? It's got to make business sense. Right? And the order flow has to support it. Right? The order flow has to support what your agenda is. Otherwise, there's no fairy godmother that's going to come around and just move the price down. The sellers have to put it on sale. Where's the close? Ah, here it is. My pleasure. Just always remember, keep it really simple because it's a market, right? The market's going to tell you where the sellers are. So if you're shorting, right? If you're shorting and we lose the seller there, right? Right now we got sellers right under 48. We didn't get the sellers I was looking for at VWAP. See how we stopped before that 42 stop? See, look, tagged VWAP to the tick, instant buying. A long over 60, 50, yeah, if you can get it over 52. There's going to be sellers at 54. If you short, get your buy orders in. Short 44, covering 42. Flat. See how it hit that tick? Right to the tick. Need more selling. Need more selling. There we go. Put your lookout bids in. Remember, if you're short and you can't buy it on the bid, what's the market trying to tell you? Don't get high off your own supply. Remember that, folks. You got to buy it where you can, not where you want to. You know what? Trading books are okay. But eventually you're going to have to put the book away and start getting in there and taking some punches. And sitting and watching a market seriously is way better than any trading book. Because there's conceptual stuff and then there's actual real world, right? I love trading books, right? We've had, there's a lot of pilots, Carlos. We have a bunch of pilots in our room. I hope you guys aren't trading in the cockpit. Oh. Yeah, we have quite a few pilots in our trading room. And some retired ones, too. It's funny because they all, in my private mentorship program too, we have some pilots, and they're all like, I don't want to be a pilot, I want to be a trader. I'm like, I don't know, that's funny. I always thought being a pilot was a more glamorous job than being a trader. Travel all over the world. The ladies like the uniform. We do have sellers at 48. We've got bids at 44. So we're just kind of bouncing around here. Let's wait for some more customers to come into Walmart. If we get above 48, careful on the short side, folks. There we go. We want some selling. Come on, give it a good... Somebody come in there and bash this thing with a good sell order. Oh, man. If you don't mind, I'm just going to go take a look at... I was watching this CRCL and I did some levels. They turned out to be okay. Came down to 206.47 in pre-market and then bounced. Oh, that's nice. I'll do a video on that one this weekend. I love IPOs. Oh, can't wait till I start doing them again. I hate the look below and fail of VWAP Taco. Because especially in Chop, there's just so much unpredictable competing order flow at VWAP. You know what? It used to be like last year. No, a little like 18 months ago, the look below and fail of VWAP was a nice trade. It was a lot better, you know? But now, it's not the same. It's too choppy. Did Apple catch a bid? Because everybody said that it wasn't going to. Everybody on Apple was saying because of some data breach that it was going to gap down or something like that. Where's Crab Apple? Yeah, 199. That's okay. I don't. On the weekend, somebody was saying that Apple's going to crash and pull the S&P down, and that's why I don't read the news. Right? Always believe the chart. Always pay attention to the chart. The chart's going to tell you the real deal. The chart's going to tell you whether or not what's really going on, right? These are actual transactions, not speculation. My VWAP is anchored to the 6 p.m. open. And the reason why everybody's VWAP is wonky is because of the holiday. So that's probably why. Right. My VWAP is anchored. I use 23-hour VWAP. Okay, I use very simple VWAP. Yeah, my VWAP is anchored at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I use regular, plain vanilla VWAP. I don't use. You guys have all sorts of VWAPs, right? You got barbecue VWAP. You've got Cool Ranch VWAP. I just use regular VWAP. 23-hour session. That's where it's anchored. I just use the TPO chart. It's kind of a map of the city. The 1 minute candle chart is the map of the neighborhood that we're in. I don't use TPO to execute. I use this to execute. You'll be blown away at how much information you can get off a candle chart that's not written about in books. Right? I like vanilla VWAP, yeah. There's an amazing amount of information you can get off a candle chart. And what I do in our room at the Trading Syndicate is I take the business that I learned over the last 33 years of selling billions and billions of shares. I was like McDonald's, right? Billions of bids filled. I sold billions of shares of stock into the U.S. equity markets from offshore institutions for smart money insiders. These are the people who own the stock at half a penny and you're buying it at $10 a share, okay? I sold their stock into the market to guys like you and ladies like you. So I use those what I learned in that business to help you now learn how to make a living trading retail, right? So if you understand a little bit, you don't need to know how market making works and you don't need to know all of that stuff, but you just have to understand that there's a wholesale element and we'll teach you how to take trades that make sense, right? If the trade doesn't make sense, we're gone, right? And that's what we do at the Trading Syndicate. And once again, before I leave you, I'm going to plug the room. Check out, we have a 25% off. And here's the thing. You know, if you join the room and you need help, reach out to me, DM me in the Discord room. I'll be happy to. I even get on calls with people that I don't do one-on-one coaching with if they really need help. You know? Yes, we will have a price action lab today at 11. Are you guys up for one in the coaching class? Or are you guys all going to the beach? Is it too hot in London to have to stay inside? I don't know. I got the air conditioner now, so I'm all in front of the screens all the time. Right? Uh, Sing, if you look at, do you see the border on your screen? Do you see it? It's tradingsyndicate.org. There's like a border on the bottom of your YouTube screen where it says my Twitter, the YouTube, and where I teach. Yeah, I'm there all the time. And if anyone's interested in, oh, look, we've got a break. Hang on. Be targeting the close at 36. Down here if you're short. And if anyone's interested in one-on-one coaching and it's a lifetime coaching thing, give me a shout. I'll be happy to get on the phone with you and help you with your trading needs. I'll even do a free one-on-one session with you so you can see and experience what it's like. Finally. Oh yeah, probably, Hank, probably. Filling those singles. Hit 36, didn't we? Finally. Okay. As usual, one left. And there we go. That was the short I was looking for here. When I was trying to short it here, I wanted to, but it took so long before that happened. There we go. Finally lost the bid. So who was saying that they were going to sell it off? Was it Carlos? Was it one of the folks on YouTube? Right? Of course you did. You're such a scammer, Rolly. You're hilarious. Somebody said they were going to float it down. Right? And that's what happens when you run out of buyers, right? That's what happens when you run out of buyers. You got to put it on sale. Right? So that's cool. Okay. All right, I take it back. But you know I got to give you a hard time. Nice work. That's the short I wanted here. That's right, Derek. Oh yeah, I mean I grew up in the prairies. Right? But see, we finally got some liquidation. That's good. That's healthy for a market to sell off like that. It's very healthy. Damn, these ranges are big. You know, it's good. Liquidation is good for the market. It makes the price action better. It's kind of like WD-40 or liquid wrench, right? I'm sorry if I'm the one who sold you the penny stock for $10. Probably bought it for me. So I'm trying to redeem myself now. See if we do a look below and fail. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Should have bought 32. 33 to 36. Flat. Screw that one up. I was long 33 and 34. I was too slow to get the 32s on that look below and fail. It's okay, but could have been a bit better. I was sloppy. Means I'm starting to get slow. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you bright and early on Monday. Thanks for being with us. And trade safe for the rest of the day, okay? Thank you, folks. Bye for now. Have a wonderful and safe weekend.